Dhyanilo prema dhana karuna prachu Dhyanilo prema dhana karuna prachu Hino Prabhu Kota Gila Charya Thakur Hino Prabhu Kota Gila Charya Thakur Kaha Mora Swarup Rupa Kaha Sanatan Kaha Mora Swarup Rupa Kaha Sanatan Kaha Dasaragunata Patita Pavan Kaha Dasaragunata Patita Pavan Kaha Mora Bhatta Juga Kaha Kavira Kaha Mora Bhatta Juga Kaha Kavira Eka Kalikota Gila Goranatara Eka Kalikota Gila Goranatara Pashani Kutibo Mata Anale Pashibo Pashani Kutibo Mata Anale Pashibo Goranga gunera nidhi kotha gele pabo. Goranga gunera nidhi kotha gele pabo. Se saba sangira sange je koi la bila. Sangiro sange je koi la bila. Se saba sangira sange je koi la bila. Sangira sange je koi la bila. Se sangana paya kande narotamadas. Kande narotamadas. Se sangana paya kande narotamadas. Jnanilo prema dana karuna prachu. Jnanilo prema dana karuna prachu. Hino Prabhu Kota Gela Charyataku. Hino Prabhu Kota Gela Charyataku. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur. Translation. He who brought the treasure of divine love and who was filled with compassion and mercy, where has such a personality of Srinivas Acharya gone? Where are my Swarup Damodar and Rupa Goswami? Where is Sanatan? Where is Raghunath Das, the savior of the fallen? Where are my Raghunath Bhatta and Gopala Bhatta? And where is Krishnadas Kaviraj? Where did Lord Gauranga, the great dancer, suddenly go? I will smash my head against the rock and enter into fire. Where will I find Lord Gauranga, the reservoir of all wonderful qualities? Being unable to obtain the association of Lord Gauranga, accompanied by all of these devotees in whose association he performed his pastimes, Narottam Das Thakur simply weeps. Thank you, Javidapu. So today is the disappearance of Sri Murari Gupta, and we'll read about him in the book, in the Samadhi book. Sri Murari Gupta was an eternal associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was also Hanuman. And so Sri Murari Gupta, a disciple of Sri Chandrasekharacharya, possessed extraordinary humility. He had an intimate, lifelong relationship with Lord Chaitanya. Although senior in class, Murari would always lose in debates with Sri Nimai Pandit. During one heated argument, they began pushing each other. The scuffle continued into the Ganges. They stirred up so much mud that ladies couldn't fill their pots and brahmanas couldn't bathe properly. At the nightly kirtans in Shivasanga, Murari Gupta pleased Guru Hari with melodious chanting of the Bhagavat. He would also sing and dance expertly. Murari Gupta served Sri Chaitanya in all his Nadya Leelas. Lord Chaitanya once tested Murari Gupta's attachment to his worshipable Lord Ramachandra. Lord Gaurasundara preached to Murari about the supreme sweetness and position of Rajendra Kumar, Krishna. Murari just worship Krishna and take shelter of him. Nothing but his service can satisfy the mind. Although Murari Gupta became somewhat inclined towards Sri Krishna, the thought of losing Lord Ramachandra's association devastated him. That night he prayed to Lord Ram to take his life. He asked for this because he couldn't stop serving Ram, nor could he defy Sri Chaitanya's request. After crying all night, Murari approached Lord Chaitanya and said, "What should I do? I've sold my head to the lotus feet of Lord Ramachandra, but if I break your order to worship Lord Shri Krishna, then what can I do?" Smiling, Sri Gaurai replied, "All glories to Murari Gupta. You so fixed in your worship that even my request couldn't turn your mind." This is exactly the type of love and affection the servitor must have for the lotus feet of the Lord. Even if the Lord wants separation, a devotee cannot abandon the shelter of his lotus feet. Just to test your firm faith in your Lord, I repeatedly ask you to change your worship from Lord Ram to Lord Krishna. Congratulating Murari Gupta, the Lord continued, "You are the incarnation of Hanuman, the eternal servant of Lord Ram. Therefore, why should you give up your worship of Lord Ram?" At another time, Lord Chaitanya showed his form as Lord Ramachandra with Janaki, Lakshman, and a host of monkeys reciting hymns and prayers. Seeing himself amongst those monkeys in his original form as Hanuman, Murari Gupta fainted. In Katwa, when Lord Chaitanya took sannyas, Murari stood by weeping like a child. And when Srimad Mahaprabhu moved to Jagannath Puri, Murari and his wife would come every year to relish the Lord's company. Since he was born in a dynasty of Ayurvedic doctors, Murari Gupta practiced medicine, but his practice was unique in that he cured his patients' physical ailments and also freed them from the disease of material existence. He wrote the first biography of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, an important Sanskrit work entitled Sri Chaitanya Charita Mahakavya. His samadhi is in the 64 samadhis area. So there's something about Sri Murari Gupta. Sri Murari Gupta ki jai. May I have the book, please? But today is a very special day. There's a few things we're celebrating, and I'm going to read. First thing is we're celebrating Shri Krishna Saradhya Rasa Yatra. Thank you. I just read a little bit about that. And also Lakshmi Puja, disappearance of Sri Murari Gupta, and we're starting Kartik. So Shri Krishna Saradhya Rasa Yatra, this is the first full moon of the autumn season, marks the celebration of Krishna's dancing with the gopis. And on these days, the deities of Vrindavan are dressed in white. And Krishna, different lila dramas are being enacted and performed. Because the moon is very auspicious, the Vrajavasis, they leave pots of sweet rice exposed to that moon. And then they wait the whole night. They wait for them to turn into the ambrosial nectar, ambrosial amrita. So this is something a little bit about Saradya Rasa Yatra. Also there's Lakshmi Puja. And Lakshmi Puja means we worship Lakshmi Devi. Actually we don't, because Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they don't celebrate. That's so much. So Goddess Lakshmi Devi, she has emerged from the ocean of milk, and she's an eternal consort of Lord Vishnu. So on that day, usually devotees of Lakshmi Devi, they offer different prayers and puja, offer different paraphernalia to her. So she appeared on this day of Diwali. And we read a little bit about Shrimari Gupta. Now this is also beginning of the month of Kartik. It's a very glorious day, actually. We begin to think and meditate on this wonderful pastime of Lord Damodar. And in Padma Purana it is mentioned that this month is very dear to Lord Krishna, as well as the day of Ekadashi, which will also fall into the month of Kartik. And another thing mentioned there in this verse in Padma Purana, Krishna says that of all the plants, Tulsi is dear to me, and of all the places of pilgrimage, Dwarka Dham is very most dear to me. So on this day, usually devotees of the Lord, we sing the bhajan, Damodar Ashtakam, and we also try to enter into the meditation of that pastime, offer different vratas or vows for pleasure of Lord Damodar. And we're trying to bind Lord Damodar with our affection and love. So it's a wonderful celebration. It's going to go on for the whole month. And every day we'll sing that bhajan, come together, offer a little lamp. Actually one time, or a few times, my friend told me in Russia, in one temple, what they did, they have the ghee wick put on a little cookie, and they come before the deity and they offer the lamp, and then take cookie as prasadam. I think it's really amazing. And so devotees, we can make different vratas, different vows, but they should be authorized, they should be done for the pleasure of Lord Krishna. And for example, we can read more of the Krishna's pastime, so we can try to memorize the shlokas from the Bhagavatam, for instance, 10th canto, or we can memorize the whole Damodar Ashtakam, there's 8 verses. And also we can chant more rounds and avoid offenses and participate in satsanga, come together to the temple. We have devotees who come regularly every day during Kartik. So those are some things we can do during that month. And unfortunately we don't have so much time, so I'm going to continue on speaking on Srimad Bhagavatam. But yeah, Kartik month ki chai. So we're speaking on, continue speaking on 7th canto, chapter 14, text number 3 and 4. The chapter is called Ideal Family Life. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, so text number 3 and 4. I'm just going to chant it myself. Shnivan Bhagavato Bhikshnam Avatarakatamritam Shadadhana Yatakalam Upashanta Janavrita Satsangachan Kaya Sangam Atma Jayatma Jadishu Vimunchen Muchamaneshu Swayam Swapnavaduttita. Shnivan, hearing. Bhagavata, of the Lord. Adikshnam, always. Avatar, of the incarnations. Katha, narrations. Amritam, the nectar. Shradadhanaha, being very faithful in hearing about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Itakalam, according to time. Generally, a grihastha can find time in the evening or in the afternoon. Upashanta, completely relieved of material activities. Jana, by persons. Avita, being surrendered. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Yeah, both of them. Yeah, the Grihastha must associate again and again with saintly persons, and with great respect he must hear the nectar of the activities of the Supreme Lord and His incarnations, as these activities are described in Srimad Bhagavatam and other Puranas. Thus, one should gradually become detached from affection for his wife and children, exactly like a man awakening from a dream. Pervert. The Krishna consciousness movement has been established to give grihasthas all over the world an opportunity to hear Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita specifically. The process as described in many ways is one of hearing and chanting Shrivatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana. Everyone, especially the grihasthas who are mudhadhi, ignorant about the goal of life, should be given opportunities to hear about Krishna. Simply by hearing, by attending lectures in these different centers of the Krishna consciousness movement, where topics of Krishna from Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are discussed, they will be purified of their sinful inclination for constant indulgence in illicit sex, meat-eating, intoxication, and gambling, which have all become prominent in modern days. Thus they can be raised to the status of light, punya shravana kirtana, simply by joining the kirtan, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And by hearing about Krishna from Bhagavad Gita, one must be purified, especially if he also takes prasad. This is all going on in the Krishna consciousness movement. Another specific description here, Shrivan Bhagavata Bhikshunam Avatara Kathamritam. It is not that because one has once finished Bhagavad Gita, he should not hear it again. The word abhikshunam is very important. We should hear again and again. There's no question of stopping. Even if one has read the topics many times, you should go on reading again and again, because Bhagavad Katha, the words spoken by Krishna and spoken by Krishna's devotees about Krishna, are amritam, nectar. The more one drinks this amritam, the more he advances in his eternal life. The human form of life is meant for liberation, but unfortunately, due to the influence of Kali Yuga, every day the grihasthas are working hard like asses. Early in the morning, they rise and travel even 100 miles away to earn bread. Especially in the Western countries, I have seen that people awaken at 5 o'clock to go to the offices and factories to earn their livelihood. People in Calcutta and Bombay also do this every day. They work very hard in the office or factory, and again they spend 3 or 4 hours in transportation returning home. Then they retire at 10 o'clock and again rise early in the morning to go to the offices and factories. This kind of hard labor is described in the Shastras as the life of pigs and stool eaters. Nayam deho deha bhajam driloki kashtan kaman narhate vidbhujamya. Of all living entities who have accepted material bodies in this world, one who has been awarded this human form should not work hard day and night simply for sense gratification, which is available even for dogs and hogs that eat stool. Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.1. One must find some time for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. This is Vedic culture. One should work 8 hours at the most to earn his livelihood, and either in the afternoon or in the evening, a householder should associate with devotees to hear about the incarnations of Krishna and his activities, and thus be gradually liberated from the clutches of Maya. It's a really long purport. However, instead of finding time to hear about Krishna, the householders, after working hard in offices and factories, find time to go to a restaurant or a club, where instead of hearing about Krishna and his activities, they're very much pleased to hear about the political activities of demons and non-devotees, and to enjoy sex, wine, women, and meat. And in this way, they waste their time. This is not Grihastha life, but demonic life. The Krishna consciousness movement, however, with its centers all over the world, gives such fallen and condemned persons an opportunity to hear about Krishna. In a dream, we form a society of friendship and love, and when we awaken, we see that it has ceased to exist. Similarly, one's gross society, family, and love are also a dream, and this dream will be over as soon as one dies. Therefore, whether one is dreaming in a subtle way or a gross way, these dreams are all false and temporary. One's real business is to understand that one is a soul, aham brahmasmi, and that his activities should therefore be different. Then one can be happy. Brahma bhuta prasanatma na shochiti na kangshiti samasarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. One who is transcendently situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments nor desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward all living entities, and in that state he attains pure devotional service unto me. This is Bhagavad Gita 18:54. One who is engaged in devotional service can very easily be liberated from the dream of materialistic life. Om Jnana Timrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Vanchakopatrubhishcha kripa sindhubheva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. Good morning, everyone. So this is a very important chapter in Srimad Bhagavatam, because it deals with the ideal family life. And in our Krishna consciousness movement society, there's a majority of devotees, they entered into the family life. So it's important to learn about the dharma of a grihastha, of householder. And of course, sometimes we think that in Kali Yuga, just by following everything scrutinizingly, we still can be really happy here. But it isn't really so. We'll still be desiring and liking a better situation, a better condition, you know. So it's really difficult to be happy in family life. But although it's difficult, if we try our best to put in the center of our life Krishna, then at least there will be some shelter and great relief from so much labor, as Srila Prabhupada was saying. So much labor, so much hard work just to maintain your family and pay the bills. So this verse speaks about how it's important to hear about Krishna. And naturally, when we hear about Krishna from the authority, from the sadhus, from spiritual master in Sangha, satsang, then what happens is we develop detachment. It naturally happens. We don't need to do anything else. If we attentively hear, we develop detachment. And that detachment doesn't mean that I just leave everything and go into the forest to meditate, like was being described in some previous text. I mean, in some previous Bhagavatam classes. Tyaga and sannyas mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. We're detaching in such a way that whatever we have, we can utilize in Krishna's service. So the real desirelessness is to desire pleasure of Krishna. Just like in the Kartik month, we desire prema bhakti, we desire to please Krishna with our sincere endeavors. We don't just desire to go away and to merge into the body of Krishna, Brahma Jyoti, or we don't desire also life in Vaikuntha planets. We desire just to satisfy the Lord. That's our intention. Anabhilashita shunyam jnana karma janavritam. So, Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita have been mentioned here in the text. Is important for devotees to hear in the morning, or at least in the evening when we come back from work. It's very good if we put a class and hear a class, because Bhagavatam is actually Puranam Brahma Samhitam. It's actually not different from Lord Krishna. It's a literary incarnation of the Lord, and it's meant for the ultimate benefit of everyone. There's Shreyas and there's Preyas. We can engage in activities that give us immediate benefit, Preyas, but Srimad Bhagavatam gives Shreyas. It's an immunity from the repeated cycle of birth and death. That's what Srimad Bhagavatam is. And yesterday we were at UCSD, me and Govardhan Prabhu, we were distributing books there. I met one guy, he's from India, and he told me that I've read Bhagavad Purana. It's a really nice book. And I asked him, what did you remember from the Bhagavad Purana? It's quite a long book if you read it all. And he told me he appreciated at least one point he mentioned. He appreciated the fact that there's a possibility for everyone to understand Bhagavatam, even if you're just beginning. And he specifically mentioned the fact that there's a universal conception of the Lord, like that picture of the body of the universe, which is helping us in the beginning stages, helping our meditation on a personal form. And then, he was very appreciative of that, and he was mentioning how he's read and he knows Srila Prabhupada, he goes to ISKCON. And so he took some more books. But then Govardhan also met some people. There was one Muslim guy and a Hindu, and they were arguing with each other. They were just, speaking about which religion is better, like that. And then the person who was a Muslim, he mentioned one interesting thing. He said that if there's any contradictions in the scripture, we should reject it. We should immediately reject it and stop following it. But it's so funny because Krishna, there's quite many contradictions you can find in our literature, like Srimad Bhagavatam, for example. In Shirsh Upanishad, Krishna mentions that I walk, but I don't walk. I'm here, but I'm not here. I'm within, I'm without. So that's a contradiction we find in Shirsh Upanishad. And the understanding is that these contradictions, they indicate that Krishna has inconceivable power that we can't understand with our material experiences. And then the guy was also mentioning that the way he understands God is that he go to the mosque every week, and he chants, he bows down, and then at some point he sees God in front of him, like that. He's shining in his face, and that's all really, So that's kind of a we wouldn't say it's a bad practice, very pious, but it's incomplete. It's not complete. We can't really say that we know much of God if we just follow these things and have this minute, small realizations. So, and at UCSD, it's actually a really big school. There's over 30,000 undergraduates, and total is probably 40,000 students. So I really appreciate the fact going there. Sometimes you meet devotee students, from the devotee family, and it's a really nice, very dynamic, sweet place to distribute books. Unfortunately, we're running short on time, but I just I'll skip most of what I wanted to speak about today, but I do want to mention two things before we stop. One thing I'd like to mention is human reason fails to understand. Srila Prabhupada says in one of the comments, human reason fails to understand how just by serving the Srimad Bhagavatam and the devotee Bhagavat, we can progress spiritually, But it's actually a fact. By attending classes, by hearing all the abhadras, all the inauspicious qualities and desires and attachments and things, they're completely destroyed. And actually, Srila Prabhupada, we know that verse, Nashta Parasha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Seva. When Srila Prabhupada first translated it, he put that we should hear, regularly hear, but then he changed it to attend, because attending is even better if you attend and hear, rather than if you just hear on the tape. I mean, it's still very good, but if you attend in person, there's always an opportunity to, in some way, better be more sensitive to the bhakti current that has taken place among the devotees. And there's also more opportunities for service as well. After class, you can clarify some points or associate with devotees and offer service to them and take breakfast too. So it's very good if we attend classes. So there are many, many different narrations, but we should hear them again and again and again, because if we develop a taste for hearing, we would want to hear them again and again. Like we all have our favorite things we like to eat. You know, for example, Javita Prabhu likes to eat hummus and smoothies. And Virachana Prabhu likes vegetables, raw vegetables and fruits. And Sureshwar Prabhu likes cupcakes, muffins and cupcakes with blueberries. So we don't mind taking them every day. Also, we with the same way, if we really develop a taste for hearing our Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, we would like to have it every day. It's just natural. So, and towards the end of this chapter, Deal Family Life, there's going to be a mention of very important practices for the householders that can help them to also advance in spiritual life and benefit society, nation, and the whole universe. There's actually 6 things mentioned. And first of them is to worship the deity as a way to counteract the hard, not hard, but I guess inclination to go and waste time on the internet, go to the cinemas, movies, even theaters, you know. So instead of doing all that, we can engage our senses in worshiping the deities, and you know, it takes a good amount of time, so that's a better engagement. So worshiping the deities is one of them. And then another thing being mentioned is we should also invite devotees, the Vaishnavas, to come to our house so we can offer service and cook for them. It's very important. Because, you know, in the household life, we're so busy, we're so concerned about business, about work, about family. So there's got to be someone who would come and remind us of Krishna, you know. So the Vaishnavas like that, they come to our house and remind us. And another thing, and it's being stressed the most, we should try to deliver people by giving them prasadam. By cooking, and not only people actually it mentions, but also all living entities. So it's a really amazing service to do for the society, to cook and offer this to bhoga, to the deities in someone's home, and then share it among people. Yagya Shishta, mentioned in the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, food taken as a sacrifice offered to Lord Vishnu is free from any reactions, any sins, and it purifies us. So, and then we also offer that food to the ancestors, and most importantly, we take it ourselves for our own purification. And yeah, and another thing, the last thing, the sixth point mentioned is the householders. It's really important to engage the wealth that we have in Krishna service, and one of the, I guess, best ways to engage that wealth is going for pilgrimage, going together. To see the holy places, travel to India, or even within the country, like United States of America, we can go to different states and cities and visit a temple. So these things that will help us to develop attachment for the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His devotees, and advance further in spiritual life. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much to your devotees for your attention. I'll stop here, and if you have any questions or comments, please, it's time for that.
I have a question and a comment.
Okay.
You said something about how Prabhupada changed the translation to the Russian, to Nashtapraya Shabadrisha.
Yeah.
I don't think he changed it.
Mm.
I think it was an editing thing. I mean, I'm looking at the Delhi Bhagavatam. By regular attendance in the Bhagavat class or rendering service unto the pure devotees, all that is inauspicious in the heart of a candidate becomes destroyed almost to nil.
Mm.
But then, the first editor changed it to by regularly hearing, I think, Bhagavatam. I can't locate it on this thing what the original translation was.
Okay.
But that was a controversial thing because the devotees had gotten used to that translation. And it was actually revised during Prabhupada's time in 1976. And it was printed in 1976. But not all, the new version was not, as widely distributed as later became. So there was a big, this is like, trying to, Prabhupada said, by hearing the Bhagavatam, and you're saying by attending the Bhagavatam class, so they accused Jayawada of trying to work for the GBC and get everyone to Bhagavatam class. Instead you could sit down and, after you come back, you're doing something and you read it yourself or read it, so that by hearing the Bhagavatam rather than the class. So he got one of the books, in those days it was all books, and he got one of the old books, the original books Prabhupada had and showed him by regular attendance in the Bhagavatam class. So. Just wanted to give you a little background on that.
That's very good to know. Thank you, Jira Prabhu. You had a question too?
No, the question was just that it confirmed that you made that thing that Prabhupada changed it. Prabhupada didn't change it.
Okay, yeah, okay. He was the editor, yeah. But Srila Prabhupada wanted it to be changed.
Well, no, but he did write a letter saying that he trusted his editor, Jayawada, explicitly.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I heard about that. Okay, nice. Okay, thank you so much for sharing.
Hare Krishna.
I
have a question. You just mentioned about ancestors. So how can we see like ancestors from the Bhakti perspective? Like by saying ancestors, does it mean that they don't reincarnate, or how can we look at the ancestors?
We offer prasadam to the ancestors just to help them, because it might be so that none or some of our ancestors are not practicing bhakti. So, and they're eternal souls, just like all of us, and so they always alive and somewhere. So we're just trying to help them and offer prasadam like that. For instance, when your family member passes away, you also can do a yajna. What is it called? Shraddha, yeah. And you can also help that person to be placed in the favorable circumstances for devotional practice and offer prasadam like that.
So maybe like ourselves, we are like ancestors and we're like being helped right now. Can that like be a point?
There's different ways for how we can obtain opportunity for devotional life. So
because ancestors mean like you have died, so like we're now like in this body, so we died like in a past life, so we're like the ancestors of like some family now, right?
Well, if you have to get married and have children, then you can be an ancestor.
You're trying to connect yourself to a particular family lineage and saying that we come from a family line, and now we. What exactly are you saying?
You're a descendant. We're all descendants. Yes. And if someone, Ramapati had the opportunity to be an ancestor, he has children. Will they have children, and he'll be one of the ancestors.
I think he was asking about being an ancestor, then did something good, to be born again.
Oh, in previous life.
Yes.
Okay, so you're saying that ancestors did something devotional, and now you you took birth and you took a bhakti path. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, or like, can we be like ancestors, like in this body? Cause like I died like in my past life, so I'm like ancestor, like my
Oh, you were an ancestor in your past life, and
Mhm.
oh yeah.
See,
Oh.
that's the idea.
Could be, of course, yeah. Maybe. Yeah, I would say yes. Hare Krishna. Yes, Richard Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you. We see in this verse, this is stressed at this hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, and can you explain this quality of hearing? That how quality should be to take this test, and etc. etc.
Hearing should be nityam, should be unbroken. It should be always taking place, because by hearing we get nourished and we get enthusiastic by hearing also. And hearing means, Srila Prabhupada explains, hearing means following. At some point you want to do something. You want to repeat what you've heard and you want to do. And hearing is really important. Some devotees wake up in the morning and they turn on the speaker of Srila Prabhupada or their spiritual master and they start hearing, because they want to get in touch with that vibration. The voice of a devotee, it explained in the Bhagavatam, it touches the lotus feet of Lord Krishna and then comes and enters into our ears. It carries the aroma, saffron aromas. Yes, yeah. That's
So of the Acharya carries the saffron mercy particles from the lotus feet of the
mercy
Lord.
particle.
And one can actually experience them that way. Very nice purport, 4th canto.
Yeah, it's the 4th canto. Yeah. It's a beautiful verse. And also, for example, some of our acharyas, and I remember the verse by Prita Maharaj, he's also praying like that. He's praying that, let me have millions of years so I can relish hearing from pure devotees. And this is much more blissful than the, Brahmananda or any type of practice. So he's praying like that. So therefore, it's being stressed by our spiritual masters, by Srila Prabhupada, that hearing is the way to understand Krishna, is the way to get purified, get free from the anarthas, abhadrashus. Would you like to add anything to that?
It just came to me, because you quoted that verse, what was it? About, you had the first line?
Nice
about
depression.
the design have millions of ears.
Oh, yeah. This is, I didn't recite Sanskrit.
That's a great verse. It suddenly came to this one word that has so much freight for us. Prasanga. Now, sangha has two meanings, right? It means association and attachment. And they go together. What you associate with, you'll get attached to. So in this, in the Sadhu Sangashtaka, text 20 to 27 of chapter 25 of Canto 3, Kapila Deva is just beginning his teachings to his mother. And he begins with that word, prasanga. Prasangam madaram pashamatmana kavayobadu. And in that context, prasanga means strong attachment, because pra is the prefix that increases, right? Whatever it comes after it, just like we have, ecstatic, and then it's mega ecstatic, right? Or something like, right? So anyway, so prasang. But then later on, he has this famous verse, Satan prasangan mama virya samvido. This is a very famous verse, very important verse, more or less is a summary of ISKCON. In the association of devotees, if you hear, then you'll hear about my glories. This is Kapila Dev speaking. And that hearing will eventually, it's a path of liberation, and you'll increase your faith, shraddha, your rati, your attraction for me, and ultimately your bhakti, your prema, love for me. So then I thought of another verse, when Dhruva Maharaj, because it's the same idea, he's praying to Vishnu, not for the kingdom, forget that. I already said it's like broken glass. But he is praying for something. Bhakti mahapavahato tvahime prasango bhuyadananta mahatama malashayanam. Please let me always have the association of your advanced devotees, because in their association, I'll always be able to hear this nectarian river of katha, which will destroy anything inauspicious in my heart and take me back to Godhead. So I'm just thinking, next time I give Sunday feast, I'm just going to give it on that one word, prasanga. Because right now, we're all attached to all these different things, and it's keeping us coming back birth after birth. But if we change that, if we associate with devotees through Prabhupada's books and personally, then that strong attachment can be transformed into strong attachment to Krishna. So that's the whole program right there. Very well.
It's wonderful. I shared, last week I was at UCSD, I shared a book, Sat and the Bhagavad Gita with one student, and he came back to me yesterday at the table. He said, "I read the introduction; it's so good, but then Krishna Prabhupada explains that I need to understand Bhagavad Gita if I only through Guru. I need a Guru. I need a Guru." And I told him about the importance of hearing. I also mentioned that. And I got his contact, and I texted him the series of Bhagavad Gita chapter overviews by Swayam Bhagavan Keshava Swami. So he did that before he took sannyas. So I sent it to him, and see what happens. Let's see what happens. But he was really, really into it. And I mentioned that too.
There's two kind of gurus. You got the shiksha and the diksha guru. So we want to get the initiated. But Srila Prabhupada is the shiksha guru for all of us, for all time, through his books. So in that way, you can also turn them on to live lectures, recorded lectures. So that's important, because he's the central guru for everybody.
I thought you were going to say, please invite him to the temple for the Bhagavad Gita classes. I rushed and said I already did. Okay. Anything online? Vijay Krishna Prabhu?
Yes, I have a question.
That's great.
May I?
Can you turn up the volume a little bit? We can hardly hear you.
Just a second, Prabhu.
Okay.
What about now?
Same. Didn't help.
Get closer to the mic.
Javira Prabhu was saying, get closer to the mic, if you didn't do that.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, better.
Okay, so do you mind reading the last sentence of the translation?
Yes, I can read it. I don't mind, I can read it. I do. I do mind. Okay, so the last sentence of the translation, Prabhu. Thus one should gradually become detached from affection for his wife and children, exactly like a man awakening from a dream.
Yes, thank you very much. That is the quote, the sentence. Based on this sentence, my question is, if grihastas are not meant for being affectionate to wife and children, how should they exchange or deal with them? Should they hate them or ignore them completely? That is my question. Did you understand my question?
Yes. How should?
So if not with affection, what should the grihasta do? Hate them, hate his wife and children, or ignore them completely?
Javira Prabhu has something.
Yes. So you have to carefully read the quote there. Thus, one should gradually become detached from affection for his wife and children, exactly like a man awakening from a dream. So the key phrase is gradually. And I was just reading in the evening class, because we read all in text 8 to 12 in chapter 13 is all of these elements of knowledge, and one is becoming detached from wife, children, home, and the rest. There's a whole thing there. So Prabhupada, in the purport there, he explains that these are natural forms of affection. It's not that So the point is that in household life there's a trajectory. You enter into household life, and then there's children, and you have to work, and all these different things. But as time passes, ideally you get married at 25, and it's 25 years, and you have children. So by 50, you have grown-up sons. That's the whole idea. And then you try to become more detached. You can think vanaprastha, where you may travel with your wife to holy places, but there's no physical contact and all these things. And your grown-up children are taking care of the younger children back home. Everything is taken care of. And then at a certain point, you develop more detachment. Because the process of bhakti, when it's engaged in intensely, you don't have the time and the mental energy to do full-on bhakti when you're working somewhere and trying to support. But at a certain point, you increase more and more. And so that's going to naturally decrease your attachment. The more you get attached to Krishna, you become detached from Maya. And, ideally the wife will go home and be taken care of by the elder sons, and she'll, also develop her detachment and attraction for Krishna. So the whole idea is, the key is that gradually there, is that you enter into household life because you do have affection. And that's good. That can be dovetailed also into producing wonderful children, and then, setting up a household that's centered on Krishna consciousness. So we have a wonderful example with, they were here this morning.
Gaurkeshwar's family.
Yeah, and also Darpan, he's going to start bringing his kids, like that. So.
That's very nice explanation.
Gradually.
Gradual detachment, through varna, ashram, like that. And naturally, even with age, we've become a little bit less enthusiastic or optimistic, I guess, as devotees especially, to enjoy anything. We just want to relish the message of Krishna.
And one more comment.
Just heard this morning, Prabhupada's talking about without Krishna consciousness, even in old age, if you have enough money, you'll pay money to go to the club and there'll be young ladies there. You're still trying to enjoy. It's tragic. It's pathetic. But that attraction can stay even to the end of life. Prabhupada tells that pastime. Someone is, when does the sex desire? Well, it doesn't end until you die. I don't believe you. So the advisor was telling the king. So then he heard there was, okay, some old guy is dying, and he's got a young daughter. So come, and when we go in, you watch. The king had the young daughter. You watch what he's looking at. So and the guy's he's on his deathbed. He's looking at the daughter. So if you don't have Krishna consciousness, it can come, and of course then there's such pain in the heart. I have my desire, but I can't enjoy anymore. And I heard in Hemingway, I heard that he committed suicide because of that.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So the blessing, they think, is a curse. So that's.
Does that answer the question, Jai Krishna Prabhu?
Yes, very, very, very clarifying and pleasing way. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
And thank you, Dravida Prabhu.
Good, thank you.
Jai.
You're just amazing.
Grant
And
us.
thank you, Dvijamani Prabhu,
Yes.
also. Thank you very much.
And you too, Prabhu. Everyone here.
You're welcome.
Grant us Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.